Keegan Murray decided to go ahead and play in the California Classic. He won't be playing in Vegas. Mm-hmm. He'll travel with the team and continue being a team leader, which he's been with this group of guys. But we saw from Keegan Murray a 29-point game followed up by a 41-point game. Just a man amongst boys. I mean, it's one of those things where when I found out that he was playing in Summer League, I'm like, what fucking universe is a first-team rookie who broke the record in three-pointers, who started for a playoff team and struggled at the beginning of the playoff series and then persevered and ended up being one of the best impact players in the final couple of games. How does that guy go up and have to play in Summer League? Why? It's not like he's Chet Holmgren and got hurt, you know? It seems so wrong, and he's been killing it. He's been killing it. He's been showing off what he can do with the ball in his hands, how he can get to the different spots, with his control of the ball, what he can do on defense, guarding smaller players in space, running the floor. I mean, I think one of the greatest things that you hear about is what Luke Locke said after the Warriors game was that he and Lester Quinones, I think Quinones hit a three and looked in Murray's face, and then Murray answered back and then said something to him. And Lux was that's just awesome. That's the kind of stuff you want to see, just puff your chest out type stuff. And you're talking about one of the most reserved, emotionless, stoic players out there in Keegan Murray last year. Never smiled, never got fired up, nothing like that. And you're kind of seeing that from him. And we always talk about him being a super confident player. And kind of another note that Lux mentioned was that in one of the scrimmages they played, he scored 18, 19 straight points and had everybody's jaws on the floor, just of how good he is. And I think it's kind of building up towards this thing where it's we're always constantly talking about from the end of that Warriors series to now going forward, what's that leap going to be like? Because it's not just going to be a step into the next season. It's going to be a full-blown freaking jump into the next season. And you're seeing him do all these different things. Will we see him as much with the ball in his hands? Will we see him doing everything that he's doing now? No, they don't have to make him do that. But he's willing to, as he put it, put himself in uncomfortable positions and learn from it. And, I mean, what more do you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting because, since Monty's been in Sacramento, he's had 3 lottery picks. Well, I mean, this year excluded. But he picked 3 lottery guys who weren't the number 1 options or even number 2, number 3s. Using the lottery, it's okay, well, this guy's going to be our next big thing, and put the ball in his hands, let him work. Even Keegan Murray as the number 4 pick, the highest of Monty's picks so far. So it's Keegan with the back roll, not back roll, but he was a starter, but definitely 3rd or 4th option. Yeah, he was not a prime, maybe even a 5th option. Let him play California Classic and build his confidence, and it's exactly what he did. And people are well, don't let him get hurt, but it's I don't know.
Man, basketball, dude, let him play.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's nice. It's nice to see him go out there, and, I mean, like we said, the talent he's going up against, but that kind of just confirms what we know he's capable of. I mean, yeah, anyone could, any NBA player could potentially score 41 against those guys, but
he's doing it in ways that you don't see him do it in the
exactly NBA. He showed a lot more. Yeah, exactly. Showed a lot more of his tricks
and his leadership. He's more vocal with guys. He's talked about I think after the Warriors game, he was I'm just trying to be more vocal with guys. I know because I was in a lot of these people's shoes just a year ago, this situation as a first year player, not knowing what to expect and all this stuff. So just trying to communicate with them, ask them questions, give them things to look out for before, after games, all these things. It's man, this guy. It's didn't they always say that between him and Chris, he was the better student?
Did they?
I think so, and I can see why. No condemnation of Chris Murray, but damn, I mean, Keegan is just... We talked about it at the beginning of last season. It's man, this guy doesn't really act like a rookie.
Yeah.
And you heard it from his teammates, you heard it from his coaches, and man... You start talking about that 3rd star thing that we were kind of saying earlier in the podcast. Why put everything at risk when you have one in the making?
Yeah.
And I think based off what we saw late last year, what we're seeing this summer so far. Another thing that I did not know is he put on 8 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, he looked big.
He looked good.
I was going through his pics. I'm damn.
Damn, don't get too excited, Tony.
He's got. I mean, I just look at him. It's like, yeah, he got some big arms now.
Yeah. He had some veins kind of.
He got some veins.
Yeah.
If you got the bicep veins, that's how you know you're jacked.
Yeah.
Just saying.
8 pounds of muscle is a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant.
I mean, they say 8 pounds of muscle. Probably 8 pounds in general.
Yeah.
But.
True.
They said Fox put on 10 pounds of muscle, which is honestly impossible. And then he
was
sucked.
that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Just like slowed him down or whatever. He's like, wait.
Well, because it's not 10 pounds of muscle. It's 10 pounds of weight in general. But they say muscle. That's, can't build muscle that quickly. I'm just saying. I know these stuff.
Tony's he's a gym bro. But yeah, Keegan Murray, man. I mean, there's a lot of excitement around him for a reason. And I mean, will he become the third star next season? Maybe not. I don't really see him scoring 20 points a game next season.
Let me say something that was interesting. I read a quote that Luke Locke said that basically, like, after he was saying that they saw Keegan score 18 or 19 straight, and everyone's jaws were on the floor. A scout came over to him and said that this was like the best jump from year 1 to year 2 that he's seen since Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoa, that's crazy. So I went to Kawhi's stats. And, Kawhi Leonard's a superstar in our league. He only jumped from like 10 to 15 points, which is interesting. And because, I don't know, you just kind of assumed, especially after that quote, that he would have jumped to like 20 points. So, I mean, even if he can jump to 15, 16 points on a consistent basis and play good defense, I mean, you already have Herter, you have Barnes, because he was, 11 points a game last year, 12?
Something like that, yeah.
But if he can, like, consistently be maybe a third option, even that sense, even just scoring 16, which is, I mean, we want OG Anunoby to score 16, be here and score 16, play good D. If he can just do that on a consistent basis, though, I mean, that's good enough. In year 3, that's when you get really excited.
Right.
So, I mean... I think he can do it too, and I think he showed in summer league a lot. I mean, yeah, his usage rate on the floor was like crazy, obviously because they just wanted the ball in his hands. But he was showing some stuff. I mean, he hit that crazy step back off the dribble, which was crazy. I mean, he was always good with the float game, but I think he's a lot more better off the bounce now. And he's just showing those improvements to his game where you used to see him just as a catch and shoot guy. Well, now it's like, yeah, he can maybe create, if he can create on his more that he showed that he could do. I mean, that's just all the makings to make that next step.
Yeah, and that's his goal. He said he wants to go out there and be able to go out and do it on his own to be able to get a bucket when the team needs a bucket.
Yeah.
When necessary. And, he doesn't want to just do the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing. He wants to be the best he can in order to do the right thing. He wants to, like, put the maximum impact out there. He's just got a good approach to things, and and yet, like you hear Colby Jones say about him, it's like nobody can speed him up, nobody can change his pace. He's gonna, play at the speed and get to the spots that he wants to get to, the way he wants to, and confident young guy. I don't know, got to be excited. I mean, there's a lot to be excited for, obviously, with the next season, but you jump from year 1 to year 2 for Keegan Murray. Here we are again talking about it.
Yeah.
So.